Ayan. Mm.
Hello, good afternoon. Magandang hapon Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. And good afternoon sa ating mga suki dito sa SDG Action Hour. Mayap agat panapon sa ating mga kababayan dyan sa Pampanga o yung ating mga kababayan mga Kapampangan na imbaga malem sa mga Ilocano, masanto siya nga rin, marahay na hapon. At sa mga taga Visayas, maayong hapon, maupay nga kulop, maayong ugto. And syempre sa ating mga kaibigan dyan sa Mindanao na mga ka-Berks natin, ano, assalamualaikum, malingat, mahapon, mapiyak, kautuwa, alungan, and buenas tardes.
Po sa ating mga panauhing banyaga. Good afternoon. Annyeonghaseyo, konnichiwa, salamat siyang shanguhao. Welcome po sa ating mga regular na tagapakinig at tagapanood sa Zoom at sa ating Facebook Live. Hello po sa inyong lahat.
Hello, Anyong, sa iyo, Paul. Magandang hapon ulit. Mabuhay po tayong lahat. Welcome sa ating, 44th episode na natin. Hindi pa tayo nagse-celebrate ng ating 1 year, pero gagawin siguro natin yan in one of our episodes, no? Ang ating The Filipino Sustainable Development Goals or SDG Action Hour, ito yung ating ika-44th episode. Ito yung lingguhan nating kumustahan, kwentuhan, para sa maganda, maayos, mabuti at makabuluhang kinabukasan. Isang oras na naman to ng hitik na talakayan. Very exciting na naman yung hapon natin ngayon, di ba, Paul? Alam mo kasi, pag-usaping kabataan o youth, lagi akong attentive dyan at saka excited kasi alam mo, ang tagal kong naging youth coordinator ng Couples for Christ at nagtrabaho din ako bilang country information officer ng Save the Children UK. Kaya yung mga kabataan, younger children and youth, gustong-gusto kong pinag-uusapan yan. At ngayong hapon, I'm so excited and so thrilled. Then even our Filipino youth kasi ay very busy na in taking part in the realization of the SDG or the Sustainable Development Goals. Di ba, Paul?
Totoo po, Ma'am Dada. And nakakabilib nga po dahil our guest is also a younger one. So, batang-bata pa rin po ang ating guest. But in spite of them being so young, ay marami na po sila na-accomplish sa kanilang field. They have completed their undergraduate degree in psychology at Mondrian Ora College and their Master of Health Social Science mula naman po sa De La Salle University. At sa kasalukuyan niya po, mukhang hindi pa po siya pagod mag-aral, ay they are currently pursuing their doctorate in sociology also from the LSU. And to cap it off, they are also a licensed psychometrician.
Wow! Para po sa kaalaman ng mga iba dito na lalo na yung mga kabataan na hindi alam ano ba yung psychometrician na yan. Yan pala isang professional na nag engineer o siya yung nag-aaral o nagba-validate ng psychological test, no? Kapag ikaw ay kumuha ng isang psychological test, ito ay kanyang inaaral at tinitingnan niyang mabuti para makita natin na mas maayos at mabigyan ng mas malalim na at karapatang tamang pag-unawa yung resulta ng eksaminasyon na kinuha mo na psychological test, no? So yung ating panauhin sa hapong ito ay kasalukuyang lecturer din sa Department ng Behavioral Science ng De La Salle University. At ang mga paksang kanyang tinuturo ay gender and multicultural. Nakakabulol. Culturalism. Ako sana, mamaya siguro ipapaliwanag niya, ano ba yan? Multiculturalism na yan. Theories and applications of behavioral sciences, families and populations change, understanding culture, society and politics, understanding the self. Kailangan ko yan kasi minsan hindi ko naiintindihan yung sarili ko. And then science, technology and society, sociology of media and pop culture and sociology of health. Nako, yung pop culture baka kasama dyan yung mga K-pop, ano?
Clint ay naging part-time professor sa AMA Computer College. At hindi lang po yan, matagal na talaga po siya sa larangan ng pagtuturo and nagsilbi din po siyang consultant sa iba't ibang organizations at ahensya tulad ng
Mm.
PREDA Foundation, Consuelo Sobel Alger Foundation, Council for the Welfare of Children, United Nations Children's Fund or UNICEF at Save the Children. At sa mga engagement niya po nito ay nag-render din siya ng volunteer work kasama mga ahensya na nabanggit natin. Kasama din po dyan ang Child Rights Network, Norville Foundation, at I Lead with UNDP, and I'm sure na marami po pong iba. And our guest is nakapag-conduct na rin po siya ng mga research in relation to child deconfinement during the COVID-19 pandemic, and they have also documented the process of evaluation on the implementation of RA 9344 or ang juvenile justice.
Ay, naku po, yung ating guest, hindi lang dyan ha. May mga training experiences siya when it comes to film and media such as screenplay, cinematography, set design, sound design, musical scoring, editing, storytelling, freedom of expression and censorship, video technology, ang dami pa siguro, no? Talagang itong batang to parang talagang gusto niya talagang alamin lahat ng mga larangan na talagang makakapagpa-enhance ng kagalingan ng ating mga kabataan.
Yan nga po, sa dami po na naging engagement na ating speaker at mukhang hindi pa rin po talaga siya napapagod, nakakuha po siya ng mga awards and recognitions. At ilan nga po dyan ay ang pagiging two-time champion in feature writing mula 2015 at 2016 sa Regional Higher Education Press Conference na ginawad ng Association of Tertiary School Paper Advisors in Region 3. At noong 2016 naman po ay ginawahan siya ng Excellence in Clinical Psychology Practice at Excellence in Journalism by the Mondrian Ora College. At in 2019 naman po ay nirecognize siya bilang Most Outstanding Pioneer Regional Leadership Award from the 2030 Youth Force in the Philippines.
Nako, teka muna. Anak, ang ating guest, anak ko, ikaw ba ay nagpapahinga? Mukhang hindi. Sa dami-dami ng ginagawa mo, pero we honor you for that because yung commitment mo talaga inaandyan. So, wag na natin itong patagalin. Excited na ako. So, mga kapatid, mga kapamilya, kapuso, ka-SDG, let us all welcome our special guest for this afternoon, Rodmar Eda. Yes. Hi, Rodmar.
Hello po, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Narinig po ba yung aking audio?
Yes,
Malinaw
at
po ba?
magandang iyong background. Parang ikaw
Ay,
yata
opo.
nasa Sonia's Garden or whatever. Naku, welcome. O sige, we are excited na to hear what you have to say about your mga activities. Sige, go ahead, Rodmar.
Sige po, maraming salamat po, Miss Dada and Paul. Hiyang-hiya po ako sa intro. Parang binasa niyo po talagang maigi yung sinambit kong CV, pero ako lang po ito. Ako ay typical lang din naman na kabataan. Ako ay 27 years old pa lamang. Medyo bata pa naman po. Pero maraming salamat po sa pagpapakilala. And of course, maraming salamat po sa invitation. Para makapagbahagi po ako ng ilang mga bagay, no? Nakakatuwa rin po kasi itong activity naman na ito ay parang kwentuhan nga lang siya. At doon din po ako sanay sa pakikipagkwentuhan. Hindi po ako yung very professor type, no? Mas gusto ko din po yung chikahan lang, parang maritesan nga lang minsan. Pero let's try to make it as informative, engaging, and meaningful as possible. So, on that note po, dahil madaldal din ako, dahil mahilig niya ako sa kwentuhan, sisimulan ko na po ito, no? At mag-share lang po ako ng aking screen. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Ako po right now ay nasa Davao. Kaya maganda po yung background ko. Talaga medyo nasa gitna po ng kagubatan. Isang resort dito sa Davao para sa isang activity naman kasama ang isang proyekto ng government at ng UNICEF. At muli po ako po si Rodmar Eda. Nalalaglag pong mga bunga. Ako po ay ang National Convener ng 2030 Youth Force in the Philippines at katulad po ng nabanggit kanina, faculty member din po ng Sociology and Behavioral Sciences Department mula sa DLSU Manila. So magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Good afternoon to everybody. And if we have foreign or participants who may not be able to understand the language, the Filipino language well, feel free to flag me or buzz me po. No? But I'll be speaking mostly in Filipino and English for this whole presentation. I'm also gonna time myself kasi po ako ay madalas ay nag-overtime. So, oorasan ko lang po ang sarili ko. And please, sa ating pong organizers, please feel free to also flag me if I'm already overtime. So, the presentation really or the main meat of my presentation is all about the global goals, no? Yung Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs. Ang lagi pong sinasabi kung tayong mga kabataan, merong mga jowa goals, um, may mga friendship goals. Ang mundo meron din siyang goals, and it makes sense that the world also has its goals, no? Kasi we are headed towards a direction that is not so beautiful somehow, not to some extent, and it warrants us to be proactive about these things, or go the Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, or we also call it the 2030 Agenda or the Global Goals. And at the same time, susubukan ko rin pong i-contextualize ito sa sitwasyon ng mga kabataan, being a young person myself, no? Nasa youth age pa naman po ako. And pero bago ang lahat, kumusta po muna kayo? Baka po okay lang na mga musta sa mga ka-chat at mga nandito po, mga participants, kung meron pong nanonood sa Facebook. At kung napapansin niyo po, ang image na natin na nandyan ay si Jose Marichan at si Mariah.
Blur na
Dahil ngayon po ay
kasi.
September 1, so baka lang po kailangan natin ng pangkondisyon. Kumusta po kayo? If you can say one word, how would you describe your feelings, whatever you're doing right now, in one word? Pwede po kayo mag-chat. Pwede rin po, Miss Dada, Paul.
Yeah, ako natuwa ako sa jowa goal. So tinatanong ko tuloy si Paul kung may jowa goal siya. Excited na akong marinig ka.
Salamat po. Excited na rin po ako mag-share. At of course, if may pagkakataon din po mamaya, makapag-exchange din tayo. No? Kasi I'm pretty sure lahat po sa atin, or marami sa atin, ay may opinions din about kumusta na ba ang kabataan, kumusta na ba yung SDGs. Ayan.
Ayan,
Positively
meron
happy.
nasa chat box, sabi niya si Aida, she is positively happy. Oh, ayan.
Wow. That's good to know. Kumusta din po? Baka yung weather sa inyo right now dito po sa Davao, medyo makulimlim. Maaraw pa rin hindi naman umuulan. Kumusta po ba sa ibang parte ng kung sino man po ang nasa Kamaynilaan? Kumusta po ang weather dyan? Sana po ay okay lang tayong lahat, no? Ayan. Pero kahit po siguro emoji, if you can click on the emoji that would best represent however you're feeling right now, that would be very, very helpful, no? Kaysa bago po tayo dumiretso sa mga sa agenda natin for today. So ano ba, feeling happy ba kayo? Feeling loved? Feeling jowa goals po ba ang mga kasama natin? Ayan. So nako, may gusto na mag-party kasi today is Friday. Merong mga nagpa-party, feeling partying na. Gusto na mag-Happy Friday. Gusto na mag-long weekend. Actually, oo nga po, no, Friday. So, subukan nating gawin ito ng mas mabilis. Baka kailangan pa pong umuwi ng mga kasama natin, ng mga nasa opisina pa right now. Pero feel free to listen in, no, habang kayo po ay nagbiyahe or whatever. Dahil ako naman po I'm very, very informal. But once again, I'll try to make it as meaningful as possible. Okay. So, maraming salamat po sa mga responses. Please feel free to chat whatever you're feeling right now. Ano man po yung emosyon ninyo, no? Ang isa ko pong tanong, siguro, hindi niyo po kailangang sagutin, pero maganda rin sana kung meron po kayong ma-share sa chat box or sa comment section kung meron po sa Facebook. Mga nakikinig sa atin sa Facebook or nanonood, nakaantabay sa atin sa Facebook. Kumusta na po ang Pilipinas? Kasi pag-uusapan po natin ang kabataang Pilipino. Pero bago siguro natin tanungin yon, parang gusto ko po munang malaman anong feelings natin tungkol sa sitwasyon natin dito sa Pilipinas. Kumusta ba tayo? Or general feeling din? Ano ba yung pinaka-umaatikabong issue sa tingin ninyo na kinakaharap nating mga Filipinos? Ano yung most pressing na mga issues? Or kahit hindi nyo po sagutin, pag-isipan natin. Kasi parang minsan importante rin or maganda rin na we sit back, no? And we think about things, kumustahin natin yung ano na bang nangyayari, no? Ano bang nangyayari sa paligid natin? Baka sobrang busy natin, kakatrabaho, kakaaral, no? And we sometimes forget to actually care about what's going on around us. So this is a very simple practice, but I find it really important to be talking about these things. Dismayed sa price ng tomato, onions, etc. Okay. Sige po, no? Medyo nakakalungkot nga po yung pagtaas ng presyo ng napakaraming basic goods, mga necessities natin, no? Flooding and traffic. Nako, especially Friday, uwian. Tapos may kasama pang baha at pag-ulan. So, medyo malungkot po tayo ngayon pagdating sa macro level na pagtingin. Kanina medyo happy, medyo feeling partying. Pero nung tinatanong na po natin kumusta ang Pilipinas, medyo nakakalungkot, no? Medyo challenging. I'd say medyo challenging. Sige po, maraming salamat sa mga responses natin. And again, please keep them coming, no? Maganda rin kumbaga i-displace natin whatever we're feeling right now. Ang kasunod po na importanteng tanong diyan ay, kumusta naman po kaya ang kabataang Pilipino? Sa tingin ninyo, kasi napapansin ko po or baka marami sa atin dito, meron pa po bang mga pasok sa age range ng young people dito? Meron pa po ba? Kasi I heard marami po dito mga academicians, mga scientists, no? Hopefully may mga
Oh.
students din tayong
Pero may
nakikinig.
mga anak kami at
May
mga
mga anak. Opo. So, of course, you'll be able to compare, no? Kumusta po? Kumusta po ang young people ngayon? I'm still relatively young, pero nakikita ko na rin po yung difference. Medyo tumatanda na rin po. If you were to describe the young people right now, yung Gen Zs, Gen Alpha, kumusta kaya sila? Kumusta naman? Struggling. Struggling daw, sabi ni Paul. Sabi ni Miss Dada, deadma. Deadma ang karamihan. Okay. Sige po. Hintayin natin. Baka meron lang ding pahabol yung iba pa nating mga kasama. Deadma. This is very interesting, no? Okay. Deadma dahil pampered. Parang they're comfortable, no? Parang pampered, medyo spoiled. Parang ganon. Okay. Bubutasin lang po natin, babasagin lang natin ng kaunti itong pampered, no? Ang mahalagang question din kasi diyan, hindi ba yun ang gusto natin para sa mga kabataan natin, for them to be to live a better life, 'di ba? Parang may ganun tayong goals. Okay. Walang paki sa national issues. Ay, nakakalungkot din. Nakakalungkot din na po na balita ito, no, na walang paki sa national issues ang maraming kabataan. At the chat option is only for the panelists. Ayun, yeah, you can actually make parang utilize because I believe this is in a webinar mode. The Zoom is in webinar mode. So
they can use the Q&A box.
yeah, the Q&A option. Yes. For those who are outside of the panelist room. Yes. Okay. Or of course, you can also shoot your own questions if you need or if you want. Because na rin sa issue ng safety and security. Okay.
Yeah.
Sige. I'm sure marami tayong naiisip. Perhaps we can keep
Yung
that.
sinabi kong deadma, can I say something about that?
Yes,
deadma
po,
thing?
sure.
Yeah, okay. I actually said that deadmas ang karamihan because they're pampered. Magkaano yun eh. Because of the issue of safety and security na ayaw namin syempre na ano. Now, but the thing is because they're pampered, no, parang oo. Some nga hindi na sila street smart because alam mo yung mga iba hatid sundo. But, di ba? Oh, ang nagiging ano, hindi sila resilient, no? They're vulnerable to parang mga problema, konting problema lang. Kaya meron na ngayong issue no mental health kasi panahon namin parang layan eh. Kahit gutom kami, pumapasok sa school, wala kaming mental health. So yun yung as a parent, yun yung parang nakita ko the side na because we pamper them because we want them to be safe, no? Because nga yung sitwasyon na ng ano, naging hindi sila resilient, no?
Meron din siyang effect,
hindi
negative
rin
effect to
sila
some extent.
self-reliant sometimes because andyan kami dito kami na ano no. So nung panahon namin matagal kami sa aming pinagtatrabahuan. Sila pagka meron silang konting issue, aalis na. O, alam mo ha, nakaka-relate ka. Oo, aalis na kasi hindi naman. So parang may ganon, yung resilience.
Tama po.
Yung ano.
Actually, I'll be talking about resilience a little bit later as well. So thank you po for that input, Miss Dada. Isa ko pang pambutas actually doon kasi I understand sobrang common sentiment ito ng I wouldn't say older but more mature, more experienced
Ingat
adults,
ka sa
no?
older, joke.
More experienced adults na parang yung tinatawag po natin diyan ngayon ang term nila ay snowflake generation na parang the young people nowadays they're very sensitive, no?
Fragile,
Dahil nga
Min.
ganun parang
Ibig sa snowflake, fragile yan, di ba? Kasi pag
parang fragile.
bumagsak sa basag na siya. Okay.
Yeah. So may ganung pagtingin yung maraming yung earlier generations.
Older
To some
generation.
extent, yeah, to some extent, meron pong katotohanan dyan, no? Marami ding pag-aaral na nagpapakita ng dynamics ng iba't ibang henerasyon. At magandang tignan nga po yan, tignan din natin yan sa paraan o sa pag-approach natin into many things. May it be solving issues, may it be education, among many other things. But I agree. Generally, I feel like parang medyo kulang yung maraming kabataan ngayon sa life skills, sa basic skills, and that's something that we have to work on, no? But that's a very important conversation to talk about. Perhaps we can talk about that in the future, no? Yung actual practical skills that young people need to learn. All right. Feel free to have rejoinders on these topics po, no? Pwede sa ating sa Q&A option natin. Those who are in the panel, feel free to also share whatever you have. Ang ganda pong pag-usapan talaga nitong generational differences, no? And I'd like to put a little emphasis on yung pagiging walang pakialam, no? In English we refer to that as apathy, no? Yung pagiging apathetic ng young people. May mga ilang pag-aaral din po na nagsasabi na yung trend ngayon medyo nagiging apathetic nga yung ilang groups ng young people, no? So titignan natin yan mamaya din or subukan nating ibangga at iproseso based on what I will have to say in the next few slides. Having said that, having done some preliminaries po, no, I'd like to outline my presentation into these three major, the introductions, we've done that already, the preliminaries. But what I'd like to zero in on more would be, since the topic assigned to me was all about the SDGs, di ba? Tinanong naman po natin kumusta ang Pilipinas, no? Relevant to that, we'd like to ask, halfway through the 2030, kasi po nangangalhati na tayo, ang Sustainable Development Goals ay in-establish noong 2015 at ang deadline nito ay 2030 na. So we're actually at the midpoint, no, of that 15 years now in 2023 and 2022. So tignan natin, ano na bang kumusta na ba? Kumusta na nga ba yung Pilipinas? Kumusta na nga ba yung mundo pagdating sa pag-achieve ng Sustainable Development Goals? And at the same time, susubukan din po nating sagutin naman ano yung mga importanteng question na ito nang pinag-uusapan natin. Are the Philippine youth still engaging civically? Active pa ba? Nag-participate pa ba yung mga batang Pilipino? And other substantive questions that is worth asking, especially to give us a context on ano ba yung ways forward? How do we proceed? No? Having known all of these things, ang importante naman dyan ay ito yung nalalaman natin, pero titigil ba tayo doon? No? Na okay, medyo may bad news tayo pagdating sa progress natin in achieving the SDGs. What now? I think that's the more important question. So, again po, that's me. I'm no expert on the Sustainable Development Goals, but I've been with the organization for almost 6 years now. The 2030 Youth Force in the Philippines is one of the, I'd say, prolific no, na organizations specifically advocating for the Sustainable Development Goals. But my specialty really is more on the cultural aspects of it, on the data. So we'll be looking into the numbers as well later. So that's me. Sorry, I was supposed to have my short intro as well, but the hosts have already introduced me so well. Thank you very much for the introduction. But again, I'm a very simple person po. Ako po ay probinsyano. Ako po ay taga Zambales, no? And from time to time going to Manila for my classes. But ako po ay taga probinsya, no? And I'd also like to introduce to you or give you a preview of this organization that I've been working with, called the 2030 Youth Force in the Philippines. I hope I can share sound as well. Let me just, sige po. Sana kumapit ang aking internet. To have a preview lang po of this organization para may picture lang po tayo. No? This is a 3-minute video po or 4-minute video. Medyo naglalag lang po siya pero may narinig na po bang may pumasok po bang sound?
Well,
Nako,
wala yatang sound Rod.
wala. Sige po. I'll stop sharing and then I'll reshare with sound.
With sound. Wow, yeah.
Ayun. Sige po. The share screen is loading. Let me play that again.
We dream of a world where everyone's voice is being heard. A world where everyone works together for the planet and for people. Where everyone contributes to a prosperous world. Where there is peace. We act on this dream with a plan for a sustainable world by 2030. We are the 2030 Youth Force in the Philippines Incorporated. Youth Force in the Philippines Incorporated, or YFPH, is a duly registered, non-stock, non-profit organization established in 2016 under an initiative of the United Nations Development Program, or UNDP, and United Nations Volunteers, or UNV. It is one of the national chapters of 2030 Youth Force that mobilizes young people across Asia Pacific to help achieve the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. 193 member states of the UN, including the Philippines, agreed on the 17 SDGs that form part of the UN's 2030 Agenda to attain a sustainable world where no one is left behind by 2030. Through tangible actions and collaborations, YFPH helps advance the 2030 Agenda for sustainable development. As a youth-led, non-government organization committed to promote sustainable development for people and for planet, YFPH envisions an empowered Filipino youth collectively working towards an improved quality of life for all. The organization serves as a platform to optimize the potentials of young Filipinos and enable them to contribute to the achievement of the SDGs. YFPH carries out its mission guided by its 9 core values: sustainability, excellence, accountability, integrity, justice, respect, collaboration, diversity, and bayanihan. To make a scalable and lasting impact, YFPH activates its member advocates and networks through various volunteer and exposure opportunities. YFPH also collaborates with different institutions and organizations, and YFPH educates and engages its stakeholders to foster critical thinking and motivates them to fulfill their role in nation building. Let us work together and aim for a sustainable tomorrow. Join us in helping attain an improved quality of life for all Filipinos. Sign up at bit.ly or partnership at facebook.com/YouthForcePH and on Instagram and Twitter at YouthForcePH. 2030 Youth Force in the Philippines Incorporated, leaving no one behind. Leave no one behind!
Ayun po, no? So that is the 2030 Youth Force in the Philippines. Now, I wanted to start off, I actually just wanted really to have an answer to the question, like, kumusta na ba yung kabataan? At ano ba yung ginagawa natin for the SDGs? And while that might be, while the 2030 Youth Force in the Philippines is not a representation of the general situation, no? I feel like it's good to know that something, no, albeit the minimal, albeit the challenges, no, that the organization faces, especially that the organization, ang nakakabilib po actually sa 2030 Youth Force in the Philippines is that it's youth initiated, it's a youth run or NGO. So mga kabataan, mga bata at kabataan lang din po talaga nagpapatakbo ng organisasyong ito. And it just, that feels somehow, that gives us a certain sparkle of hope, ano po, na parang okay, young people are still there, young people are still out there, and actually doing something for their communities. But and I wanted to start off on a really good note, because the next few slides will, or the next part of my presentation will kind of medyo babasagin niya po, no, yung optimism that we have in hopefully in a good way, no. Now let's look at the data so far, no, in the context of the 2030 agenda. Ang tanong ko nga po diyan, anyari po sa ating sustainable development goals. And let's take a look at the numbers, no. Ito po ang pinaka-recent na report from the UN stats, no, particularly from the UN. Kung ito po ay world data, by the way. Datos na patungkol sa progress, no, progress and direction ng sustainable development goals. As you know po, we have 17 goals, no. And in terms of percentage, the green represents yung on track ba, yung targets na nami-meet within that 17, within that goal, no. So we have 17 goals. In each of those 17 goals, you have indicators and targets. There are about 170 indicators, and then or targets, and then 200 plus more indicators. At based on percentage, kung makikita po natin dito, no, yung G1 represents yung goal 1, at yung green represent that on track siya. Yellow means fair yung progress. There is progress, then there's fair progress, but it needs acceleration for us to be able to meet the goal within by 2030. And red naman po kapag nagstagnate siya, or walang or parang it's becoming worse, and gray represents the insufficient data. Now, ang alarming po dito really would be we have goal 1, no. Goal 1 is no poverty because there's spare progress at ang laking chunk ang nangangailangan ng acceleration. No? Goal 4 is quality education. Ito po siya, same. And at the same time, ang laking chunk din nung nagre-regress at nag-stagnate. No? May mga ilang mabuting balita, pero generally kung titignan po natin siya, halfway through na po tayo. So, we should be expecting na dapat kalahati green na din. Diba? And yet, a lot of these goals, we have G13, I think, goal 13, correct me, Paul, if I'm wrong. Goal 13 is this responsible consumption
Climate action.
Sorry, climate action. Yeah. Climate action, which is, by the way, one of the agenda rin. No? Kasi world data ito, by the way. No? Hindi lang po Pilipinas ang nakaka-experience nito. And then you also have goal number 16, which is peace, justice, and strong institutions. No? While this is a world data, it also reflects a lot on the Philippines. No? Ito po yung madalas nating problems. We have problems on education, on climate, although mamaya medyo, actually when it comes to climate, medyo doing good yung Philippines. No? And then on peace as well. And generally, medyo bad news po talaga yung parang balita natin, or bad news talaga yung progress natin pagdating sa mag-meet ng Sustainable Development Goals. No? So red flags, medyo marami tayong red flags and yellow flags pagdating sa progress on the 2030 agenda. When it comes to the data, ito po, no, ito siya actually, generally, 15% lang ang on track, and 48% is moderately or severely off track, and then 37% is stagnated or regressing. So nakakalungkot po talagang balita. Ang medyo good news po niyan pagdating sa pagkalap ng data, dahil importante po, no, importante yung data that we have so that we'll know kung ano, how much more do we need to do and which areas do we need to improve on, no? But so when it comes to the data, meron po tayong mga systems and mechanisms in place, but when it comes to funding naman, medyo mababa din, no? And then other offices, mababa din in lower income countries. Ito naman na po ang medyo bad news din sa Philippines, no? Yung colors po, just like the one earlier, the green ones represent that a certain SDG has been achieved. So currently, this is good. This is from the recent visit ko po sa SDG dashboard. Meron tayong SDG dashboard if you wanted to check on the real time, although of course it's backed up by data as well, na progress natin in the country specific, no? Na progress, ayan po, marami pa rin ang red natin. We have good health and well-being. We have work, decent work, and economic growth. 5 pillars po kasi yan, no? So people, peace, planet, prosperity, peace, and partnerships cluster. Sa people cluster, yung 1 to 5, mabigat. No, walang red, walang green. Karamihan ay red, no? With orange, I mean, with good health and well-being having the biggest problem. And then when it comes to planet clusters, you have 6, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14. Sorry. 6, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. No? Ayan po, marami pa rin. Marami din ng red. And then pagdating sa prosperity cluster, medyo marami-rami din yung red, no? Especially on decent work and economic growth. Ito po sa prosperity cluster po, hindi climate, no? Yung SDG 12, sustainable, responsible consumption and production. Pero when it comes to climate action, the challenges remain, but it's so far parang ito yung mga pinaka-okay na po. No? Tapos the arrow naman represents the progress. No? A lot of the markers would tell us na significant challenges remain. Thankfully, stagnating or moderate improving. Thankfully, wala namang decreasing na dato. So ayan po yung itsura ng yung landscape ng Philippines pagdating sa pag-achieve ng SDGs. Na parang dapat isipin natin halfway through, supposedly dapat parang yellow na most of these things. But again, the bad news is that it's really really bad. So ito po yung ano natin, yung SDGs natin, and yung kabuuan, yung S17 goals natin, which most of you are already familiar with, no? And in the recent parang statements from the UN leaders, ito naman po yung I think substantial as well na statement that we are halfway to 2030 and yet nowhere near to achieving the SDGs. Sa kanila na po, sa iyo na po mismo nanggaling yung alarm, no, yung worry that we are nowhere near to achieving the SDGs. The bad news is we've lost 7 years because we're halfway through. But the good news is we still have 7 years and victories is within our reach. Sabi po yan ng President of the ECOSOC, no, si Lachezera Stova, na okay, parang half full, medyo half full na pagtingin, glass half full. Na okay, we've lost 7 years. Lost kasi parang yun nga, walang progress, nag-stagnate, no? But we still have 7 years more. It's 2023 now, yeah? Napatapos na ang 2023. So we have, but then again, we still have 7 years left ahead of us. No? In between 2030 and now, no, we have a lot more that we can do. So let's now direct uh, our energies, kasi ang sabi, 'di ba, parang we still have a lot more to do and a lot of opportunities to actually do something. And when it comes to doing something, most of the time, no, young people, given the time that they have, the energy that they have, and that because they will be the ones who will be reaping whatever effect, no, of the things that we're doing right now. It makes sense that we look into focus, no, our attention to the young people. So titingnan po natin yung mga assumptions natin tungkol sa mga young Filipinos, tungkol sa Filipinos, at kaya pa ba natin mga young people, at and other important questions. So let me start with the first question, ano po, na is there a decline in Filipino youth civic engagement? There are many types and forms of engagement, but I'd like to particularly focus on civic engagement, civic and political to some extent, civic and political engagement, no? Ang tanong natin diyan, meron bang decline? Pagdating po sa civic engagement, ang madalas na pinupuntahan ko personally as an academic is yung framework that has been provided by Robert Putnam, which had a really comprehensive look into engagement, and to actually yung main thrust po is social capital, no, ni Robert Putnam, particularly in his book Bowling Alone. Yung Bowling Alone, it represents the engagement, the civic and political engagement that people have, no, or the rise and fall, the collapse and revival of particularly the American community, which is somehow representative as well of the realities in other countries. But for this case, he looked into the participation, civic and political participation of the Americans, and that bowling has become a tiring thing, no? Na parang ang konti na nagbo-bowling, and he used that as a metaphor to the declining civic and political participation of a lot of Americans, no? And his research, his extensive research pointed towards that social capital has eroded steadily and sometimes dramatically over the past 2 generations. This is a 2000 data, no? Importante pa rin po na ma-recognize natin na for the past 2 generations, there's been an erosion and a dramatic decline na po pagdating sa social capital, no, ng mga tao. Yung social capital, ito yung the networks that we create, the relationships with people that we try to foster, no? And these social capital kasi, no, ito yung parang puhunan nga siya, yung social na puhunan natin. These are important in actually engaging people. But in his research, in Robert Putnam's research or framework, there were 4 exemptions, but I'd like to focus on this one. There was an increase in volunteerism among young people. But he did point out as well that while there's an increase in volunteerism among young people, it does not compensate to the overall erosion and decline of social capital among among Americans. No? So ayun po, parang just to affirm lang na siguro meron ng pinanggagalingan yung apathy. No? Kasi nga a lot of people have been has a lot of people has not been connecting, no, and socially engaging with their friends, with their peers, with people around them. So baka meron nga naman talagang anchors, no? And to localize that as well, we've recently done a research on collective resilience. This is what I was talking about earlier, about resilience and civic engagement among Filipino youth. This research is not published yet, no, but we've been presenting it in several paper presentations. We looked into resilience and civic engagement among Filipino youth para nga din malaman kumusta na nga? Yun din po talaga yung tanong namin eh. Kumusta na ba yung young people? Kumusta na ba yung level ng civic engagement nila? Nag-engage pa ba ang young people? Parang ganon. And what are the factors that can be associated with civic engagement? And we've seen na although glorified yung term na resilience, medyo binali namin siya ng kaunti na yung resilience ay hindi lang siya individual level but also on a collective level. And actually, meron ding tinatawag na national resilience. Isa din po sa sinukat namin yan. Family, levels of resilience in the family, within the peers as well. And how that contributes to civic engagement. Kasi most of the time, ang tinitingnan ng mga pag-aaral, how civic engagement affect the personality, no? Or the individual person. Yung parang tinatawag nating helping high. Now, whenever we help other people, it has an effect on us individually. Pero tinitignan natin na or the direction of the research that we conducted was that for a person to be able to help, no, or to meaningfully engage civically and politically, they also have to develop baka may factors that affect as well their individualities, no. At nakita nga po namin na resilience is a huge factor. Ito po, papasadahan ko lang na mabilis. Ayan po, ang kinakalabasan po pagdating sa civic engagement, mataas. Ang respondents po namin dito ay 333 young people from Greater Manila area. So regions, Region 4, Manila, and Region 3 to capture a specific population. So we've had 333. And the results show that there was high civic engagement among young people, moderate civic engagement among when it comes to political voice, but when it comes to activism and organization involvement, mataas po siya, and generally high civic engagement. And pinare po namin siya through regression. So, mga technical stuff na po ito, pero tinignan namin paano ba nakaka-apekto, no? Or ano yung cause paano nagko-cause yung resilience sa civic engagement ng young people. And we've seen na meron siyang positive correlation, yung self-mastery, yung peer mastery. Pero pagdating po sa national resilience, negative correlation siya. Ibig sabihin po, no, sa findings namin, ito na po yung nabanggit ko, no, na tingnan yung iba't ibang level ng resilience, at merong positive relationship between resilience and civic engagement. Pero pagdating po sa national resilience, yung items po kasi dito, yung mga tinitingnang bagay ay yung patriotism, trust in the government, no? Pag mas mababa po ang national resilience, mas mataas yung civic engagement, na parang marami pong pwedeng implications, maraming pwedeng conclusions tayong tignan pagdating dyan, but definitely something has to be done with the role of the government when boosting the morale, when boosting the participation of young people. Kasi at least in our study, no, pinakita na yung national resilience ng mga young people, kapag mababa yung trust nila sa government, mas nag-engage sila. Na hindi po natin alam kung dapat ba ganun yung maging direction. And the other important question na for me is also very important kasi from the discussions that we've had, generally mataas eh. At yung sinasabi ng research and other, meron po tayong tinatawag na YAFS, the Young Adult Fertility Survey, na kung saan tinatanong din dyan yung knowledge about many other things, involvement, engagement with other organizations, at may mga pag-aaral din po, no? At nakikita natin na meron eh. Hindi, not necessarily there was a decline, and according to Putnam, when it comes to volunteerism, young people have been volunteering more. Now, ang tanong natin ay, o ang mas importanteng tanong, kung nag-engage, but nararamdaman ba natin sila? Bakit parang hindi natin sila nakikita? So, ang tanong po, has it taken its new form? Yung civic engagement ba, given the advent of many factors, with technology being one of the biggest, nagbago ba yung mukha ng civic engagement among young people, no? And ito po ay hindi ko na po siya bibigyan ng mas technical na mga backing, pero ilan lamang po sa mga significant moments. Meron po tayong tinatawag na Youth Strike for Climate, which was prompted by Greta Thunberg, no? Na siya po ay nag-strike, school strike, no, for climate, na what's the sense of studying if our world is gonna be ruined in the next 10 years? Parang ganyan. And in the Philippines, this was also replicated in many school strike for climate, or general strike for climate change, no, or for climate justice and climate action. At yan, isa po sa mga malaking influensya niyan ay yung social media, of course. And then you also have the Me Too movement, na hindi lang sa climate action, pati sa human rights and gender equality issues. You have the Me Too movement in the West. But here in the Philippines, we also have the Hiha Ako movement, which started off from this Twitter exchange between Kaki Pangilinan and I think si Ben Tulfo, no? Na parang ina-undermine at merong conversations about women dressing and all of these things, no? So meron po yan. At yung arena niyan most likely ay nasa online world din. And yung cancel culture, ako po hindi ako fan talaga ng cancel culture in general. Mas fan ako ng accountability, pero meron po kasing certain level of accountability that is being demanded when we in this I really wouldn't want to call it culture, no, but this cancel phenomenon, no. Maraming mga politicians, ano pa yung mga, kung narinig niyo po yung mga animals sa kagubatan, pasensya na po, patapos na rin po ako. Yung cancel culture, or yung cancel, yung mga politiko na usually may mga maling ginagawa, na-call out sila, and nakapag-demand ng accountability. Halimbawa, yung particular mayor or politician, we call it EPAL, and my internet connection daw po is unstable. Alright, please buzz me po if I'm lagging ng medyo malala. But yeah, I'm about to end anyway. So the cancel culture also, it's also, to me, it's also a form, or call out culture, no? It's also somehow a form of civic engagement, no? Although marami din siyang negative effects, but I'd like to also focus on a concrete example of civic engagement among young people, especially during the pandemic. Kasi po kung mapapansin natin, and I wish I had more time to discuss this further, the effects of the pandemic to the civic engagement of Filipinos and the whole development sector in general. I've been working a lot in the development sector, as I've mentioned po, UNICEF, government, Save the Children, other NGOs, particularly in the children's rights sector, no? Mapapansin mo po talagang sobrang unlaki, drastic yung change, no po, nung mga organizations. And within the youth organization sectors, sobrang dami rin pong katulad ng mga businesses na nagsarado. Sobrang daming organizations po na who had to close down as well, to end their operations. And 2030 Youth Force was no exception to that, no exception to that po, no? But this one, yung we call it the community pantry phenomenon in the Philippines, is a great example of how both on the ground civic engagement would also, through or with the advent of social media and the online platforms, would also can be replicated. Actually, we also did a study on that po, no? Just to synthesize yung ano ba itong sinasabi nating taken its new form, na form of civic engagement. We did look into this phenomenon, the community pantry phenomenon, and using the framework as well of Durkheim, popular sociologist, no? And we looked into the forms of solidarity, and particularly exploring on the third phase of solidarity, which is what we refer to as virtual solidarity, na parang medyo nag-iiba nga talaga, no? Hindi po natin, I can say na mababaw ba siya yung online solidarity, yung online civic engagement. That is something that we have to look into further, no? Pero definitely may shift. May shift sa advocacy, may shift sa engagement. Ang dami ng nasa TikTok, ang dami ng as we've seen kanina, yung mga malalaking causes that has sparked movements in other places as well, no? And ayun nga po, as I've mentioned as well, yung pandemic has also shaped, no? Isa din ito sa new phase, no? Ang daming binago ng pandemya pagdating sa usapin ng civic engagement and participation. And 2030 Youth Force in the Philippines was no exception to that, as I've mentioned. We started off, our founder, Jules Giyang, started off with this simple Facebook post asking, are you interested to advocate for the SDGs? No? And now the 2030 Youth Force is not just in the Philippines, by the way. It's also in other parts of Asia Pacific. And this is what we do. You've seen this in the video as well, but I'm just doing a walkthrough of these. No? Mobilizing, collaborating, of course, and empowering. Medyo may problem pa kami in terms of the nomenclatures, in terms of the words I've used, but just like the many organizations, YFPH encountered several problems. No? And I'm using the Youth Force as an example of how it has been for other organizations as well. Because Youth Force fortunately was able to thrive. We're still here. No? And we did adjust, no, to the pandemic and to the demands. Most of the efforts that we've done, especially during the pandemic, were online. Karamihan po dyan ay online. No? We have this, ito yung pinaka-prolific from last year's election. We call it the SDG scorecard. We assessed the platforms, no, and the advocacies messages of the would-be the candidates, the presidential and vice presidential candidates. And then we devised a parang scoring mechanism to see how much do they advocate for the 2030 agenda. And sobrang naging prolific po ito ng post na ito. And how we can use the SDGs, the sciences, to actually relate it with people, no, or to our would-be candidates, would-be leaders in the government, and we'll try to also integrate this in the upcoming barangay and SK elections. But we've had other activities as well. We continue to thrive. We've been challenged as well, and YFH really was at the crossroads, as I've mentioned in the previous slides. But now it was the good kind of crossroads, at least for me, because now we're aspiring to create more long-lasting impacts directly to the community. So we're trying to make everything as community-based as possible. And to be honest, to veer away from the and I'm telling this aloud or sharing this with you, being very vocal about it. Now we're trying to veer away and not to be boxed by the 2030 agenda. No, kasi kung tutuusin po, we've been doing the Sustainable Development Goals for a very long time. No? But now we wanted really to focus on community and grassroots activities. And we are always reminded, of course, that in everything that we do, and this has been the mantra of the 2030 Youth Force in the Philippines and the mantra as well of the Sustainable Development Goals, it is really to leave no one behind. Mukha lang po siyang simpleng statement, and I'm gonna end with this presentation and with this slide. Ano po? Mukha siyang simple, but at the same time, it actually demands us of something that is really big, that will helpfully not pressure. I don't want to use the word pressure, but hopefully nudge and inspire the Philippine youth in general, no, na parang meron kasing naiiwan at marami pong naiiwan. Marami naiiwan ng mga um, persons with disability, young people in the agricultural sector, people affected by disasters, no? People affected by wars, no, by internally displaced individuals, no? Marami pong naiiwan, no? At sila, no matter how much we move forward, na parang okay, we're moving forward, lalo na yung mga nasa city, na-achieve natin yung sustainable development goals. But if there are still people out there, no, we call it in the LSU, the last, the least, and the lost, no, yung mga nasa margins ng ating society, hindi po tayo, these goals will be pointless because sino lang ba yung nakakaabante? Those who are already at an advantage. And so I would like to leave it at that, na no matter what the conversation is, whether we're talking about the progress of the SDGs and whether we're talking about the engagement of young people, no, perhaps we can also direct our energies towards asking who are we trying to, who are we here for, no? And what these metrics are, what these targets are, who are they for? No? And I'd like to believe that really therefore the people have been left behind. Ayaw po nating naiiwan, di ba? Yung pa-joke nga po nating sinasabi madalas, sino bang gustong naiiwan dito, di ba? Ayaw naman natin ng iniiwan tayo kahit na madalas nang iniiwan ng mga jowa natin. But in a more serious note, that's been the problem. People being left behind, na parang dahil nga paulit-ulit siya, ay sobrang parang numb na tayo doon sa prinsipyo of leaving no one behind really. So, that's the end of my presentation. I'm sorry po, I went over time. Sabi ko hanggang 5 lang ako. But I went over time. But I'm gonna end there. And if there's a little, I can accommodate po some responses, perhaps questions if you have as well, or additional inputs. Baka napaisip din po kayo from the inputs that I've shared. But hopefully I was able to share something. There was an added value to the conversation. But thank you very much po. That'll be
Thank you, Ronma. Thank you. Ayan, you deserve a round of applause kasi ang ganda ng presentation mo, no? So, actually, ako may tanong na eh. Sabi ko sa iyo, pagdating sa kabataan, talagang excited ako diyan, Yung kasi ngayon tino mo yung ending slide is leave no one behind. Diba ba 'yon, no? Kasi noong panahon namin, usually, pag we talk about the youth, ang ending namin, ang kabataan ng pag-asa ng bayan. O, so, hindi na rin pala uso. Anyway, so, you were talking about collaborations, no? Yung 2030 Youth Force, no? And at the same time, you were talking about leave no one behind. Sabi mo, marami pa ngang naiiwanan, ano? So, ngayon yung siguring question ko, yung 2030 Youth Force, paano ba ang relasyon niyan dito sa mga SK, no? Ang mga members ba niya ay nandiyan din sa SK? Kasi nakita ko kanina picture parang puro mayayaman eh. So ano bang niya, no? Gusto ko lang makita kasi community, we're talking about a community. Siyempre when you talk about community, SK dapat ang nandiyan, ano? So yun lang, sige.
Actually po, no, thank you very much for pointing that out, Ms. Dada. Yung SDGs po kasi honestly it's a very elitist, so I'm putting it out there, but it's a neoliberal concept. It is rather elitist. So appealing siya initially to people in the universities, although we tried as well to mainstream. Yung nga po yung parang i-localize natin yung SDGs. And I have to say, Ms. Dada, that indeed, the 2030 Youth Force, when it comes to collaboration, very minimal siya when it comes to partnerships with communities. Kaya po dun sa sinasabi naman crossroads, we're actually transitioning right now. This is under my leadership and with the help of my with the board that sets the direction. We're looking into partnering with communities and organizations that are already there. And tama po yun, SK is an institutionalized organization, nandiyan na po sila eh. And they're government partners. So they're really one of those who would like to partner with. and other institutionalized mechanisms like the 4Ps. Kasi yung 4Ps po, meron silang youth development sessions. Maybe we can come in on these aspects. Tapos may mga NGOs na rin po in the field. Initially po kasi ang structure ng Youth Force ay awareness raising, campaigns, project ideation, and then we realized ginagawa na natin yung goals eh. We just have to further support these communities and to make it more sustainable. So yun, marami po kaming realizations as an organization. And I think during the pandemic, napaisip po talaga kami. It was really our time to reflect and introspect. So yeah, but definitely sobrang
And
ganda.
one more thing, Rodmar, I think is yung what is your also how do you collaborate with the National Youth Commission, yung mga ganon, no? Kasi I think the National Youth Commission has links with the SK. So
Yes,
yun
opo.
yung ano. And nakikita siguro din in relation din doon siguro doon sa sinasabi mo na parang yung mga some of the youth, hindi naman lahat, may fatigue na sila sa volunteerism. Baka din naman kasi yung iba, wala silang opportunity to volunteer,
Right.
especially those na nasa alam mo yan, yung base of the pyramid, no? Yung nasa laylayan. Yan nga, kasi wala silang masyadong dyan, paano ba, yung way of, alam mo, information dissemination, paano kami magbo-volunteer, wala rin nga kami, no? Parang gano'n.
Tama
So,
po.
there is a way of, so, ako, I think, ito rin isang suggestion ko, that the 2030 Youth Force, para walang maiwan, talagang bumaba din kayo to community. Kasi,
Tama po.
pansin ko even yung pag i-invite nyo to be a part of the 2030 Youth Force online, baka naman walang mga load yung mga
Tama
gustong
po.
sumama. So, things like that. Ayan. Meron.
Yeah.
Oo.
Thank you
Sige.
po, Ms. Dada.
Yan. Nakataas ang kamay ni Mr. Cesar Gomez. Go ahead, sir.
Hello po.
Rodmar, salamat sa iyong pagpapaliwanag tungkol sa Youth Force. Okay?
Opo.
At binabati kita bilang pambansang tagapagbuo, National Convener of the Youth Force. Papaliwanag ko muna ang background ko. I'm 72 this year. So 2 generations. If a generation is 25 years, so I'm 2 generations older than you. But may grupo kami, sinusulong namin ang tinatawag na 2050 Philippine Challenge, Prosperity and Global Excellence. Okay? So siguro gusto kong mabigyan ng pagkakataon na ipamahagi ito sa board mo sa Philippine Youth. So I'll ask for your contact data, tools. Pero very specific lamang, very specific, you know. Ang kabataan ngayon, by 2050, you will just be in your late 40s, early 50s. Definitely, yung SDGs will go beyond 2030. So malawak yan. So habaan ninyo ang pananaw, hindi lang 2030 kundi 2050. Gusto ko lang bigyan din isang halimbawa. Nung kinasal ako, and view doon na ako yan, nung kinasal ako, naghahangad ako ng ambisyon para sa sarili ko at sa pamilya. Okay. Ngayong pinagninayang ko, wala akong malaking ambisyon para sa bansa. Okay? Hindi tayo nagpaplano ng ano ba ang magagawa natin para sa ating bansa. Kaya may mungkahi kaming grupong nagsusulong ng 2050 Philippine Challenge. Ang kabataan, lalong-lalo na sa dalubhasaan, sa first year pa lang nila, magsabi na sila, pagdating ko ng edad na 70, ito ang aking kontribusyon sa bansa at sa mundo. At taon-taon, ulitin yung panatang yan. Ito ang aking contribution para sa bansa at sa buong mundo hanggang umabot sila ng age 65, 70. So, ganon, Ganon lang. So, yun lang. Gusto kong idagdag yan.
Napakaganda po. Thank you. Mag-quick response lang po ko kay Mr. Gomez. Ang ganda po. Actually, yun din po yung sabi namin na medyo nakakakahon kasi yung 2030 and attached pa siya sa pangalan namin, no? Na 2030. So, ano ang gagawin namin after 2030? Parang wala na. Pero, yun, isa po sa mga steps na yung pagreforma nga namin ng organization. And to respond, we've been having partnerships po with the government as well. We're currently under the Stakeholders Chamber of NEDA. Naalala ko lang po sa 2050, ang NEDA naman po ay may 2040. Ambisyon natin 2040 naman, na parang medyo limiting nga. Pero maganda po, parang we go beyond these parang the dates and the numbers. So napakagandang input po niyan, Sir Cesar, and we would love to to connect with you po.
Yeah, so if I can get your contact data, no?
Yes po.
Grabe, bigay na kay Dada. Thank you. Maraming salamat.
Sir Cesar, yung ang ganda kasi nung sinabi mo, talaga naiisip yan natin noon pa, no? Mga, ang tawag kasi sa amin, Rodmar, mga baby boomers. So, yun ang tawag sa amin. Anyway, kasi kami
Rodmar,
noon.
nasa second childhood na ako. Baka pwede pa ako sa inyo. Second childhood.
Noon kasi meron kami talagang nire-recite na Panatang Makabayan, Iniibig Kong Pilipinas. And then I realized, ngayon pala, sa school ng apo ko, wala na palang ganyan. So, wala na pala. So, parang kami, everyday we recite that. And talagang, siguro, kaya yung henerasyon namin hanggang ngayon talagang iniisip namin pa rin yung bansa namin. Kasi paulit-ulit yan everyday. Itong tahanan ng aking lahi, yung mga ganyan. So, ewan ko, so it has something to do na naman siguro, Sir Cesar, sa GMRC, no? Kaya, pero yun lang.
Dada. Ang ngayon, may tawag kami, pagmamahal sa inang bayan. Pagmamahal sa inang bayan. At isasagot to pa rin yan sa mga agenda na ipupropose namin. Salamat.
Ayan, maganda yan. So, tsaka nga tama din yun, Rodmar. Ang dami ding distractions kasi, no, na bakit din nagdi-decrease yung, yung urge ng mga kabataan po for volunteerism, no. And yan na, syempre, yung social media. Tsaka yung sinabi mo kanina, yung interaction na kulang din.
Opo, kasi lagi nasa cellphone.
Lagi nasa cellphone, wala na yung face-to-face. Hindi katulad namin noon, talagang naglalaro kami ng patintero. Ayan, tago ang base. Ay,
naabutan ko naman po yan bilang millennial kasi kami nasa gitna. Pero
so parang, ang dami talaga ding distractions, no? Yung parang mga tawag dito, yun din yung mga ang hirap-hirap din ng buhay, so wala na rin talagang nakita nila, mahirap na nga kami. Mag-volunteer pa kami, sarili nga namin, wala kami. Yung mga ganon. So, parang din, marami din talagang. So, I think yung 2030 youth force na yan, lumapas kayo sa 30, and then, siguro think of what you can do also for this voiceless or the ones na hindi nakakasama, na makasama sa inyo to be part of your advocacy, no? So hindi naman
Dada, singit ako singit ako dati kay Robert. Hindi ko tinatanggap na ang kabataan ngayon ay apathetic. Hindi ko tinatanggap yan. Hindi lang sila nabibigyan ng tamang hamon. Hindi lang sila nabibigyan ng tamang. Bilang example, tinulungan ko si Art Valdez na nag-construct kami ng balangay. Yung dating bangka, boat ng ating pre-colonial Filipinos. And nagpunta sa iba't ibang ports ng Philippines. Yung mga kabataang nakakakita niyan, very excited sila. Very excited. You know? So ang ko dyan, hindi apathetic ang kabataan, hindi lang nabibigyan ng tamang hamon. Yun.
Hindi
naman talaga, pero meron pa rin, sir, apathetic, sorry.
Meron pa, pero generally.
Meron talaga. Pero, kaya nandiyan ng 2030, YFPH, you have to do something about those apathetic.
And of course, kapartner ang gobyerno, kasi sila naman yung number one duty bearer.
Ayun, yun, mag-stakeholder analysis, sino yung mga stakeholders na may influence at interesadong talagang maki-join sa advocacy nyo. And, first and foremost nga yung sinasabi ko, yung National Youth Commission, baka hindi yan natatap. So, ayan, parang marami kayong kasi yung SK, para hindi na lang palaging basketball, ang kanilang naiisip gawin, no? So, nandyan kayo. And the SDG, yan, para wala siguro silang alam about the SDG. Sabi mo nga kasi, medyo pang-elite, mga pang-mayaman yan, no? Ano ba yung life underwater, life on land, mga ganun, hindi nila alam yan. So, ayan, information, awareness, education. So, mali kayong magagawa ng 2030 youth force. Ayan.
Last, an additional point lang po, sorry. Maraming napapaisip din po talaga ako personally and from the inputs that you've had, no? Tama po yun. I'd like to also believe na hindi naman apathetic ang young people. Ang challenge ko kung question kanina, baka may ibang forma lang ng civic engagement yung young people. Baka nasa TikTok. Although sabi natin, of course, kailangan nating lumabas. And go beyond para ma-diversify. Kasi nga, baka paano naman yung walang access sa internet? Paano baka meron pang walang kuryente? So, yun din po yung gusto namin to make it as inclusive more inclusive as possible and more diversified yung representation.
Oo
Sinubukan din
naman
po namin sa
baka
SAC.
puro taga Lasal yung ano nyo, mga member nyo, imbitahin nyo naman yung mga taga Ateneo. Joke. Anyway,
Pero
so,
nag-partner din po kami sa mga high schools. Actually po,
Ah.
sinusubukan din namin. And
ayan,
very
tawag dito, Rodmar, alam mo yung Future Earth, meron kaming university, yung ano yon, University SDG Action Network, USAN na tinatawag. So may mga ka-partners kaming universities nationwide, hindi lang dito. So pwede niyong itap yan. So
Yes.
ayan, si Paul, tutulungan kayo niya ni Paul.
Yes po.
Si
Opo.
Paul ay youth din yan.
Actually, kasama po namin siya sa 2030 Youth Force in the Philippines. Especially active po siya mga few years ago. Sa
Ayan.
region naman po namin
Yayamanin yan, kaya
region
kasama nyo. Kaya
Ay, hindi naman. Mga probinsyano people din po kami. Pero very last point lang po, itawid ko lang din. Baka po kasi especially yung thread po ng conversations natin has been about this generation or this generation. Parang may ganong pitting against each other. No po. Pero parang I think importante na may pag-recognize din po. Aside from putting some responsibility on our young people na yung kabataan ay pag-asa ng bayan na parang medyo nakakatagod pakinggan sa totoo lang na dapat meron din pong pag-recognisa ng gaps at pag-identify din ng gaps from those who have come before us and recognition as well of the best practices. I think yun din po yung kulang, yung hindi masyado nag-uusap kasi parang lagi pong nakabubble, ito young people, ito yung matatanda, wala pong masyadong
right?
sorry po, mas mature, mas
Oo.
experience, parang point of convergence, point of
Tama.
collaboration really, to learn from the young, from sa inyo po na mas experience kaysa sa parang hinahati, sinesegment po natin yung ating society. So actually napakaganda po nitong
fusion of
napakaganda po nitong
the
practice.
young ones, ONES, and the young ones, ONCE.
Tama. Tama
Ayan.
po. Yes.
Okay. Naku, maraming salamat, Rodman. Talaga
Salamat
kaming
din
mga
po.
nasa kabilang side. Hindi ko na sabi ko ano yan. Ay, maraming natutunan sa inyo, mga young ones. And kami naniniwala pa rin na kayo talaga yung pag-asa namin. So, and with that 2030 Youth Force, alam ko marami. Alam namin lahat, marami pa kayong magagawa. And hopefully you can come back para naman updates. Baka naman yung pinakita mo sa amin kanina na statistics, medyo mas dumami na yung kulay green, no? So, anyway. So, maraming salamat in behalf of the Future Earth Philippines, the National Academy of Science and Technology, the NRCP, the UNITSEA, and all the others na involved dito sa SDG Action Hour. We would like to thank you, Rodmar, for your time, and we hope you can come back. Thank you also sa ating mga suki na tagapanood sa Facebook Live dito sa Zoom. Ayan. Oo. Ma'am Luli, do you have anything to say sa ating youth na nandito? At puro tayo mga gayut na. Si Rodmar. Yes.
Yeah, ako'y natutuwa at eto ang mga kabataan, ang representative ng kabataan na nag-iisip kayo sa ating kinabukasan sa mga SDGs. Paano natin pagtutulungan, Tulong-tulong tayo, bata at matanda, sa pag-abot ng ating SDGs at pagpapaganda ng ating yung na sinasabi ni Cesar Gomez, yung sa Philippine Challenge. Kayo ang aabot doon, 2050. Ano ang magagawa sa bayan? Paano
Naisip ko kung ilang
natin
taon na ako sa 2050.
maging sustainable tayo talaga?
Yes.
Saan abot talaga tayo 2050 and beyond.
Kayang-kaya, basta nandiyan ang kabataan. Ayan.
Kaya po. Tulong-tulong po. Tama po, ma'am.
Tulong-tulong. Maraming salamat, Rodmar, and hope to see you again. Sana for next, may mga session na kasama ka. Ayan na, bumubuhos ng malakas na ulan. So, thank you sa lahat and see you again next Friday. Wala talagang sound, ano?
Ah, bakit wala sound?
Siguro po pag piniplay, hindi na ano yun. Thank you, Rodmar.
Salamat po ng maraming marami. Sa susunod po ulit.
Oy, Rodmar, yung husband ko taga Sambales.
Ay,
Kaya madalas
wow.
kami doon, oo.
Wow.
By the
Saan po sa
beach.
Sambales?
Sa Botolan. Si Ma'am Luli,
Wow.
nakarating na doon.
Wow.
Oo.
Sige. Kaya
Sige po.
from din si Tito mo. Oo. Thank
Salamat
you.
po.
Thank you. PP yung ano natin, PP yung ating video.
Oh.
Okay, thank you. So, Ma'am Luli, maaga
Oh.
tayo uli. 5 o'clock ba uli
Oo,
tayo
sige,
sa
sa
ano?
Monday.
Sa, ay ba't tumatawag si Sir Cesar? Yes, sir. Yes po, sir. Sir, opo. May tinatanong lang po, sir. Naka-online pa kami, sir. Ikaw talaga. Lumabas ka na. Sige po. Opo. Ay, hindi po. Wala na siya.
Oo.
Wala na po. Umalis na. Nag-leave the meeting na po si Rodmar. Opo, si
May contact naman si ano
Si Sir Cesar.
yeah, si Paul.
Opo. Naririnig ka din nila, Ma'am Luli.
Sige.
Sige. Okay po.
Maraming salamat.
Thank you po. Thank you po.
Bye-bye po.
Lumalabas po.
Bye-bye.
Ingat po.
Tinatanong ni Sir, kaya tumawag si Sir Cesar, tinatanong
Oo.
ano daw ang gender ni Rodmar.
Ah.
Sabi ko, kailan pa ba i-memorize yun? Anyway. Bye, ma'am. See you on
Bye-bye.
Monday. Ma'am, paano ma'am pag ganito yung panahon? Sana sa Monday din na, no?
Sa Monday prediction, hindi na.
Oh, grabe kasi na naman ngayon, ang lakas ng ulan dito sa amin.
Oo.
Yes.
Yeah, ito ngayon. Pero kanina, hindi naman.
Opo. Bye, ma'am.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye,
Thank
Paul.
you.
Bye, John.
Maraming salamat. Future
Bye po.
Earth, UST Pampanga,
Bye-bye.
Paul at Dada.